Hello, everyone. Welcome to Product Breakdown. And now this is a monthly series where we cover a new product every month. This week we have Shubham. Shubham, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Wouldn't we want it to be a weekly series? That's what we try.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think at some point we want to go back to a weekly cadence, hopefully in the new year. But I'm doing good, man.
100%.
How are you? How are you?
Brilliant. I'm enjoying the holiday season. You can see the
I love
Christmas
the
tree.
tree. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can,
Thank you
can you
so
put a
much.
present for me underneath?
Present for you. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I can put it here, but you have to come back and take it.
Okay.
Well, happy holidays. I hope you're enjoying that in New York with your family.
Always. The holidays season, I can bet you, is better in New York than SF. So, yes,
100%.
I am.
I miss New York so much. Cool. I think since we last chatted, the talk of the town is Twitter. What's going on with Twitter, right? Why don't we break down Twitter's product strategy today?
So, let's just start there. Why don't you tell us what is Twitter, Mayank?
See, we all know what Twitter is. The reason to answer this question is to put a framework to the product and then go deeper, right? So, what is Twitter? Twitter is a social media platform that enables users to share their information, discover the information in real time. That's very important. I also put the mission of Twitter from their website. It's to give everyone the power to create and share information instantly without barriers. These are two very important points, right? This is what Twitter is. Now, let's see, Shubham, what is going on? Where is Twitter doing all these things? Let's talk about the differentiation of Twitter from other platforms. What makes it so different from others? And then we go deep into the strategy. Tell me more, Ben. Why is it different from TikTok or Instagram?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think, I think, as you said, it makes total sense that as the mission statement of Twitter talks about, it is about real-time information. It's about access to real-time information, and sometimes it's about access to that information before you would probably hear it from a news media, right? So a lot of people, and I'll tell you some numbers, right? 48% of the users go to Twitter for news, which is pretty cool, right? Like that's a lot of users who are now saying that instead of going to a TV channel or a CNN.com, they would actually probably prefer getting their news from Twitter. The other side of it, which you asked, is why is it different from TikTok? Well, I think when you look at what happens when you are following a celebrity or a political figure, you also feel like you're having a one-on-one conversation with them while you're actually reading their tweet. It's almost like texting with them, and that's pretty cool. And then some other numbers, just so that I think people kind of realize why we are talking about news specifically, is also 94% of the people on Twitter express interest in, for example, current news, right? So they go there for that. 85% of the people on Twitter watch, read, or listen to the news at least once a day. So you can see the trend, right? I'm not going to put more numbers to it, but I think that it definitely comes out that people go there for current news. People go there to have almost a very seamless one-on-one conversation with some of the people they want to follow, or their ideologies basically that they follow.
So see, the important point that's what you're saying is the numbers reflect it does what it is supposed to do. Instant, real-time discovery and sharing of information. Lovely. Let's add some fun fact. What are the top 3 Twitter accounts today and how many followers do they have? Before you go into Twitter's thinking. And strategy.
Sure. I think I have some numbers in front of me. Barack Obama, by far, 133 plus million followers. Elon Musk, 120 million plus followers. And Justin Bieber comes number 3 with 113 plus million followers.
Very interesting. So let's go deep now, man. Well, today we'll talk about 3 things. One is, where is Twitter today from a numbers perspective? And good to hear a framework to look at that state of the union of Twitter. Second, we'll go deep into the Twitter's strategy, product strategy, what it could be. And third, we can share our point of views on what could be the future, what direction from the strategy it might take in terms of specific features in the future. So, Shubham, Tell me more, man. Like, where is it today, and how should we look at that state of the union for this product?
Yeah, sure. So I think, just as you said, like looking at the framework, let's break it down into three parts, right? So I'm going to talk about the current state in terms of users, engagement of users, and then monetization. So looking at users, Twitter actually is one of the few platforms that would tell you that they have 238 monetizable monthly active users. The second couple of other things that you want to see is, I think it's not as diverse as we think, right? Like, so US is by far the biggest market they have. Like that's where most of their users come from. 23 to 34 years old are what their average user looks like. 70% of them are male. And then just a comparison, I think if you look at when we look at Twitter and the amount of tweets that we look at, I think it's like around 500 million tweets a day, something like that. That's the number we generate. So the traffic kind of sometimes in our heads creates a confusion with the total numbers. But Twitter is actually not that big. If you look at it, it's in comparison smaller in terms of total number of users from FB, YouTube, WhatsApp, IG, and the list goes on. So I think they've definitely seen a little bit of a downward pressure in terms of the growth of users. So moving on, I think, as I said, the engagement part of it. So this is very interesting. I think, if you look at how the world has changed in the last 10 years with social media platforms coming in and video becoming one of the primary ways people actually consume information, Twitter is not doing very good in terms of engagement. So if you look at TikTok, for example, users spend on an average 95 minutes per day on TikTok. That's a lot of time they have. That's a lot of screen time they have. Can you imagine the number of ads they can put in? Versus versus Twitter is 6 minutes per day. That's not a lot, right? And so that shrinks your total view time and the screen time that you have in front of your users.
Shubham, why is that? Why do you think Twitter has 6 minutes per day versus 95 minutes for TikTok?
If you were to ask me, I think it depends on why the users come to Twitter, right? Twitter, on TikTok, you're literally going there to get entertained. You're going to spend all the time you want to kind of spend where you're not doing anything else, and you're not consuming information that is basically building on some things like current news or reading articles. You just want to go there to just watch silly videos. You go to YouTube sometimes to just watch cats jump, and that's that, right? Versus Twitter, you don't do that.
You can also be the other card there, right? Like if you compare Twitter to you have a very valid point. The job to be done, the framework we use it as we define products. If Twitter is about consuming, let's say, news for a moment, and they come for that purpose, news can also be consumed in a video format, like a business news or a snippet from your local. Do you think there's something to do with TikTok's? One is, of course, the entertainment versus news perspective. Is there something about the format of the content, which is video versus text?
I think that. So that's a very good point. I think there are two parts to this. One is the video. It's definitely more engaging in terms of you don't have to spend time reading, and I think reading is more consuming in terms of brain activity versus video is much more, you just watch it. And then there's a couple of other facts here is, a lot, more than 50% of all tweets come from Gen Z on Twitter. So they really have a niche there. 23 to 34-year-olds, that's what their niche is in terms of the user engagement thing. Actually, they were in losses. They lost $221 million in 2021, and they've only made money in the last decade in the years 2018 and 2019. So that's not looking very good, right? You can see that there is definitely a pressure on them to figure out their business model, to figure out how to actually make money, because I don't think they can sustain this. I don't think the numbers tell you a good story. So let's talk about, I think looking at these numbers and looking at what I was sharing, what do you think the product strategy is currently, and where do you think we are going to go from here? Let's talk about that.
See, See, this is an interesting situation where we have a product that is in a very good inflection point. When I think about product strategy, it's more about understanding what you just shared, the state of the union. So monthly active users are not growing at a very fast pace. Engagement is pretty low compared to the leading platforms that we're seeing today at 6 minutes per day versus 95 minutes per day on TikTok. Monetization has been a challenge. They're not profitable for the last 2 years. So that's the place where we are. So we have to figure out a way to bridge this. Then, while staying true to the mission, and a great example of this kind of change, which I would like to bring here, is Microsoft. Satya Nadella took over Microsoft from Steve Ballmer in 2015. There's a very fundamental shift in the thinking, which was they went back to the mission of the company, rethought it, and came back with some pillars that the company would stand for, and gave to the company to go and drive the innovation, go and execute in those areas, and stop everything else that they're doing, which creates focus, also creates sense of clarity in the company. So I'm going to take a similar stab here in terms of reiterating the mission. I think the mission is very strong, and then come up with 5 things or 5 anchors that Twitter should stand for to build their product strategy.
Can I ask you a question before you do that?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, do you have thoughts on like why did they slow down why did the user growth slow down? Like, do you think anything happened there in the past couple of years?
It's a very fair point. Like, if you go back and look at Twitter's growth since when it started, right, and 2018-19 were the peak time of Twitter, there was less competition, right? There was no crazy TikTok growth. Instagram was still growing, but not at the scale it was in. It was a novel platform with new thinking that can you share quick snippet of information in just 140 characters. People rode that wave. But as you grow, you have to adapt to the new changes around you, which could be about video emerging, short stories emerging, audio emerging. Twitter has not innovated since then. They made the right acquisitions, I would say, but I haven't seen the change in their product. It's exactly the same concept, apart from acquisition that went nowhere. Like Wine did not go anywhere. Very strong product, but did not go anywhere. So I feel they haven't changed with time in the competition. Let's go ahead. Talk about the strategy here. So if you think about the mission, let's go back to Twitter's mission. It's very same. I like what they have here. To give everyone the power to create, share ideas and information instantly without barriers. We will stick to the mission and come up with 5 key things that really matter. Number 1, see the thing we are seeing right now is misinformation, bots, spam. Twitter has a responsibility to build a safe platform to express and consume information. That is a foundational element of the platform. You can't, move away from that. So they will continue investing in that. What exactly there, Twitter knows it better. But that should be one of the pillars for Twitter strategy. Make it a safe place to express and share information. So less spams, less bots. That's number 1. Cool. Number 2 is, as it's a platform to express, expression now happens not in just one form. Texting is a form of expression, but not the complete form of expression. Expression can happen in video, audio, short video, and you can see that every platform, let's say every publishing platform, social media platform like YouTube, TikTok, Snap, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, name any of these platforms, they all have embraced every format. Twitter has not. They have to open up and open these formats. That 6-minute number Shubham is talking about will go up significantly the moment you have CNBC or some sort of a very solid content coming in different formats with video, audio, and short video formats.
But I would argue, right, like not just CNBC, I would argue like influencers. Just influencers coming on the platform. That'll just blow up that number. And you don't have to you don't have to go to 95, but 6 is very bad.
Double it.
Double it. Triple it, right? Like so. Yeah. Keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. You bring a good point now. My third point is embracing the creator economy, embracing the creator ecosystem. Find ways, give creators the tools to understand their followers and create more content that's relevant. Again, in Twitter format, it can't be you can't replicate YouTube here. They haven't invested in that. I know friends who use Twitter to run communities on, on YouTube. They have live chats going on YouTube, live video streaming going on YouTube, but they start on Twitter. Same with the Clubhouse. It starts on Twitter but goes to Clubhouse. There's so many such communities. Yeah, go ahead.
One part of this I would argue with you is like, I think there is, I mean, you call it copying, but like, I think like there's no reason why they can't replicate some of these things, which is especially like, look at YouTube Shorts. Where they come from? Like, I don't think,
I agree.
like, where it come from, right? And it's doing amazing right now.
It's doing so well. Yeah,
it's doing so well.
I engage with it. Yeah, I agree with you. But it's a good point. Your point is like copying is not copying anymore. It's inspiration. It's inspired.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Okay, I'll keep going. I have two more. So, safe place to express in any formats, enable creators, help Twitter make money, unlock new monetization. See, this all discussion about ideas on blue verification, all that. I don't want to get into that. There is no math that shows that those are really good monetizing ideas. But the point is, you have to create unlock new monetization methods. It can't just be ads. We can go deep into what those could be. It could be subscription model. It could be create an economy, and you take a margin or take rate from that. But they have to figure it out. So again, that's the fourth pillar they should be focusing on. And the fifth is enable business to serve their customer better. This is already happening on Twitter right now. People use, again, to your point, direct communication with brands, with people, and United or Delta or any such customer support happens to Twitter at scale today, right? We tweet and we get responses. They haven't invested heavily on this. This could be a good revenue source. It could be a way to understand problems and solve them for customers and for brands. So I think if I had to pick 5 pillars for Twitter, it'll be these 5 pillars. Safe place to express, no spam, no bots, express in any formats, bring new formats as soon as possible, foster a new creator ecosystem, help Twitter make more money, and the 5th would be enable business. That's your org chart, Shubham. Take it, go implement that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think this list definitely makes a lot of sense to me. I would just add though is as they grow the platform, their two biggest. I don't think monetization is currently like their biggest issue. I think, as you said, their two biggest issues are really engagement and users. Like they have a top of the funnel problem. Like once they fix that, once they figure out how to actually grow the usage and the engagement, I think monetization they'll be able to figure out. Like that's probably something they can like delay a little bit further and not like necessarily focus on it today. Which in news, if you look at, like, I think that's the flip of it that's happening. Like they're focusing much more on making money today versus like growing the users.
I think making money, I mean, I don't want to go, Elon Musk has his own style of management, so I won't comment on that, but making money by random ideas has no value. The moment you have a structure, either these 5 points or any other 5-point, 3-point, 2-point, will create focus, and that's what strategies are all about. It's not about 1,000 ideas. Ideas, again, have no value unless put into context of something very powerful, very focused. That's what I think we are trying to challenge you. Shubham, let's move on. Last question. What do you think they will actually do? What is the focus for them in the future? You can pick one from this or any of your ideas. Go for it.
Yeah, I think there's one that I have been like trying to think through. So
yeah.
Elon has mentioned this before, and I think it might have some merit to it. But he's talked about this idea of like super apps and you know basically taking Twitter to that direction. It might be actually one of those places where he might like. I'll just talk to you about like what a super app is and like where it might land and might not land, and you can make your own decisions on like whether it actually makes sense. WeChat is actually a super app, and just to give you some numbers around like what WeChat can do and like what the scale of that app is, it's about like 360 million users that come to read official account articles on it every day. 120 million post updates on something called Moments that they have, right? 500 million users you take advantage of mini programs daily. Now here's an interesting part. This is where it makes it a super app, because they have apps within apps, right? And so that's what mini programs are. And I think that's what he wants to do. And he can probably try that. He can probably like create, for example, games inside Twitter. He can have people engage like that. He can probably create like a way to people engage in dating apps, right? Like just inside Twitter, inside the ecosystem. But my problem with this is goes back to what I was saying before. The numbers are not there. Like, you know, you want to do this, you got to have 2 billion users, 1.4 billion users, right?
See,
that's my point.
This is why I really like the process of picking the mission, finding the gaps / based on say the union, and then coming with strategy. The moment you go back to the mission, which is about building a platform that enables users to share information and discover information in real time, this whole concept of being a super app, you can bring it, but it doesn't tie back to the mission. You can do it, but the anchor is off. Now, let me play it differently. If you do have to play a super app, let's say super app is a construct, the evolution has happened. Like super app is a combination of multiple use cases being done from one construct or one app. The beauty of that is it works when each of the use cases are complementary to each other. Uber is becoming a super app because it's a transportation super app. It's a niche of a super app that you're talking about, like WeChat. WeChat could do that for some other reasons because they had evolving use cases which they prioritize within the app they've created. For Twitter to become a super app, it could be a super app of information or publishing. But I feel going randomly and when Elon makes these statements like I'll become a super app, for me it has no value unless it's in the context of some specific set of use cases. So, but again, I'm not questioning. I'm sure he has proven he has proven that he can do things differently, and I'm sure something good will happen. But that's my POV on why mission is important and how we go. My take on the future would be very simple. I just feel just 2 most important things can happen out of this 3. Foundation is a safe place to express, remove bots and spams. But 2 things that I pick are new formats have to come as soon as possible. It'll unlock everything, new engagement, new monetization. And second is focus on finding the right set of creators and building an ecosystem around that. TikTok is killing it in it. So is YouTube, and so is Instagram. That's where they're lacking, and that'll help us in fulfilling the gaps of the flywheel of I have more users, they're engaging more, we have influencers, they power more users, and the cycle goes on and on and on. Awesome, Shivam. Great chat as always. I hope they see this video and take bits and pieces of it. But we'll talk soon, and this was a great chat again, like always.
Always. Happy holidays to you, Mayank, and everybody who's listening and watching. But yeah, we'll talk soon.
Happy holidays. Take care, everyone.